What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, it's finally happening. I finally get to do a VOD review on this forbidden tech. We won't be able to get to it until a little bit later in the game. So far, as the game goes on from the start, we're just going to do kind of like a normal VOD review and talk through the game. But this game, I will say, Kyun got a really, really interesting game, tech that I don't know. It's kind of mind-boggling that it even works. And so we'll be able to talk about it a lot more in depth when we actually get there to the tech itself. But so far, start off here. It is a trainer Sentinels game, and we have a pretty interesting one. So we have the +1 from Automata, which is like plays for really high cap 6. Automata is really, really broken. We also have the Bruiser Enforcer, which plays for a really, really nice opener if we can get another Enforcer here. So it looks really good. First Augment here. Yeah, Kyun just immediately going to rip the Latent Forge. Doesn't really consider the other options at all, but is going to play the Enforcer board right now and even level for another Bruiser onto this board, though. Yeah, he's going to end up playing the Amumu here. I think this makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense to rip Latent Forge in this spot. There is obviously like the Ornn items that if you put them onto Nocturne, anything that extends his range, rapid fire cannon, sniper's focus, or chompy one. What's it called? Chompers? Fish bones. Yeah, you know what I meant by that. If you put any of those onto Nocturne, then obviously you feel really, really good. Sorry, it's 12:22 a.m. when I am recording this right now, and I woke up at 7:30 a.m. for work. So the working man, he'll never beat the working man allegations. Look, man, where's my oil baron that wants to donate me $1,000 million? And if that happens, I'll go full time. I'm telling you. Obviously, any of those are really, really broken on Nocturne, so I imagine that's what Kyun was thinking of here. He might have also been thinking of this other tech, which is not those items on Nocturne, but it does have to do with Automata. I mean, you guys are going to know the unit that's in the thumbnail, so we'll get there when we get there. I don't know. I like the suspense. But yeah, he makes the last Whisper. His idea definitely being that we're going to play for a Nocturne game and just hopefully get something that ends up on Nocturne. Or worst case, he's also pretty flexible here. He could even play an Enforcer game. 8 Enforcer, very, very solid. We have this 4 Enforcer opener here, so a lot of options up to Kyun here. Only kind of awkward thing is that he can't easily make 10 gold here. He's going to be a little bit broke if he opts to not make 10 here. I don't know. I really would think that but I mean, his thought process is just like level 5. I can actually spike the board even harder here by playing 4 Bruiser. So might as well just play the Sentinel on the board for now. Chill pre-level. Yeah, and the next round I'm going to make gold, play 4 Bruiser, have an insane board. And he team planners out. What was that? It almost looks like he just team plannered out all the Sentinels for some reason. Not sure what this is, why he wants all these Sentinels. But okay, we'll see. We'll see where the game ends up going. We've made the last Whisper already, so that kind of, it commits us ideally normally to playing something kind of AD. The Giant Spell here really, really nice with we do have 1 open, right? Yeah, so we can just make Warmogs here and be pretty happy. Or if you really want to, you could greed onto it. We do pick up the Kogmaw here, which makes Kyun think more about, okay, we can actually play this version of the board, fit the Kogmaw onto the board, he's Automata, and Sniper onto the board. It's actually nice that there's so much inbuilt synergy with these emblems, and he is going to opt to just make the Warmogs. Fantastic Slam in general, goes well on so many units, especially onto Automata units, because they're getting so much armor and MR. The HP scales really, really nicely with it. So this fight actually pretty close. His front line survives for so long. Can they end up winning out? Oh my god, the 1 HP on the Maddie. That's actually so tragic there. I mean, I think he positioned just about as well as he could. He ended up playing the Singed over the Rella. I wonder if he feels bad about that, because Rella's probably like slightly stronger, but the attack speed from Singed is obviously very nice. He also has to kind of figure out if and how he wants to make gold in this spot. It's interesting that he is holding on to these Sentinels with the idea, okay, yeah, I mean, I do think you, at this point, do want to sell them off, especially if you end up winning this fight, though it does look like he's going to lose here, so he's going to have to say, do I want to sell a Amumu pair? He looks so very unhappy, actually. Yeah, he is going to sell off the Amumu pair at this point and say, you know what? Maybe I'll just play an Enforcer game. I need to make gold, right? He cannot be, you know, happy with not making gold here. And the other idea is just that, like, I already have a Last Whisper Slam. My odds of actually playing around like Kog'Maw this game are quite low. He's also going to pick up the Camille here, because that's something you could play with from Latent Forge, take an item that's fine on Camille, and then eventually pivot that later. Pick up the Scar and the Kog'Maw here, so now we have Kog'Maw paired up. And yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for that Latent Forge to evolve. We're actually pretty, like, very broke this game. And our items are honestly not that good as well. Like, you're not that pleased about seeing these item drops here, because there's no slam from this spot. Your board's not too bad. Hopefully you would be able to slam something, but there's just nothing you can slam. The upside is he's 5 Enforcer here. If he could get to 6 Enforcer, that is a really, really huge power spike, but I mean, it's going to be a little bit hard to get there from this position. I mean, we need to find the buy. So something, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can, or the TF actually. That's the more likely route to go, is if we pick up TF, then we're 6 Enforcer. All right, next Augment here. Mentorship, Noble Sack, and Long Distance Pals. I generally hate Long Distance Pals, so I'm not happy with it. Mentorship seems fine, not amazing. Noble Sack seems actually pretty decent here. You have another unit that you're buffing with it. I believe the dummy is going to get buffed, so that'd be kind of nice, but you know, I wouldn't hate a Mentorship. Gonna roll. Item Collector here. This does count the emblems, does it not? So I actually thought it might be Item Collector here, but maybe I think it does count the emblems, but maybe he still thinks mentorship is just that good. We can actually mentor the dummy here. I guess it's a 0 cost, but it gets mentored off the 3 cost here. I don't know. I'd want to see if you put a 1 cost next to it, does it get mentored? I think it's a 0 cost, or maybe it's a 1 cost. Maybe there is no 0 cost and it's just coded as a 1 cost. That would make more sense. 0 cost seems unlikely. But yeah, I mean, level 630 here, we're not the brokest of all time, but we're definitely not, you know, rich in this spot. And we have no econ augment, so we're really gonna have to lean on whatever we get from the Latent Forge to really put us in a good spot. The upside is we won that fight. We're up to 40 gold now. So, you know, at least we have a little bit of, oh yeah, and it does if you put it next to a 1 cost. So it is a 0 cost, actually. I knew it. Oh, okay. Honestly, I should trust my intuition more often. Anytime somebody asks me something in TFT, I'm always like, oh, you know, this is what I think, but I don't know for sure. But honestly, I should just be confident and say it works this way. And then if I'm wrong, I can just like flame ride games or something like that. Which is not what Kyun's going to do in this spot, because he's actually still win streaking here. He's pretty happy with his position. We have bow, glove, and giant's belt open here, I believe. Where's 3 items here. So if he's still thinking of maybe like playing towards Nocturne here, you'd be looking for like an IE. In general, yeah, he hovers over the sword. The IE just generally seems very, very solid from the spot here with LW made already. He's not going to be able to get to that, so he might have to take, well, he can't get the Garen here, so maybe just take this, make Sunfire feel good. Sunfire, great item. One of the most slammed items for basically everybody. Here's the moment of truth. We're going to pop the anvil here, and here is where the game gets interesting. Innervating Locket. You might say, okay, what is the idea behind Innervating Locket in this spot? You know, who are we going to throw this onto? Who's going to get a lot of value out of the mana generation? Would you believe it's the unit that you saw in the thumbnail? It's Kogmaw with Innervating Locket. And we're not playing it just yet, but we are certainly going to get there. I don't know what round Kyun actually ends up putting it in, but he says at this point, yeah, I am Innervating Locket, 6 Automata Cog. That is the line that I'm going to play in this spot here. I really want to see him do it sooner rather than later, but we'll see when he ends up putting it on there. So I guess we should kind of talk about, like, let's pause for a second and talk about, like, what is even the idea here? Let's pull up Innervating Locket and let's pull up Kogmaw, because it's kind of weird. Innervating Locket, the holder gains 2% of their total mana whenever they're hit by an attack. Each cast restores 20% of the holder's max HP over 3 seconds. So every time they're getting hit, they are recovering mana, and then every time they cast, they are healing a lot of their HP, right? 20% of your max HP when you cast. Kogmaw is an interesting unit for a couple of reasons. One, he is Automata. And so if we put Kogmaw and we read Automata, it's a trait that gives a ton of extra Armor to Mar. Armor to Mar scales very, very nicely with the extra HP, obviously, you're getting from Innervating Locket. And you also have this Automata idea as we're taking more instances of damage, we're proccing the Locket and we're also proccing Automata to deal damage. The other idea behind Kogmaw, because if you read his ability, you say, okay, where's the damage reduction on this ability? Where's the part that actually makes Kog'Maw a tank? There's no part that actually makes Kog'Maw a tank, except for the fact that Kog'Maw is not a unit that mana locks. When he casts, he immediately gets the effect, and if he keeps autoing or if he keeps getting hit, he can cast again. If he theoretically had, infinite attack speed, he would be casting infinite times. That's not the case for some units that while they're casting their spell, they are mana locked. This is often on like casters. Honestly, a lot of people are saying that Lux should have been mana locked while she was shielding herself so that she wouldn't that we wouldn't have this lone hero Lux situation. But this is the idea, is that Kog doesn't mana lock at all. He gets a ton of armor from Automata, and then Innervating Locket plays really well into both of those. All of those mean that you can actually play frontline Kog'Maw as a tank, and so we're gonna see it. Kyun's already thinking about doing it here. I think once he gets into 4 Automata, he is going to feel a lot better about doing that, but we'll see the rate that he ends up playing it at. We also pick up Gargoyle here, which is fantastic. Another idea, just the same kind of idea, is playing for just a Kog'Maw that is taking a ton of aggro and tanking up a ton here. Does not actually have everything that he wants in this board, so he's just going to throw the Kog'Maw on the front line, move the Warmogs over here, which has insane value, and then the Gargoyle is going to be the other item here. Sunfire Cape for anti-heal, and then he doesn't really have that much else. So we can see the Kog'Maw on the front line. He's not taking full aggro, but you can see he continues to cast. He keeps healing himself up. And here's where you really see, just look at his mana go crazy. He's never mana locked. He actually gets CC'd there, but look at all. Yeah, the CC is finally the end of him. But had he not been CC'd, he would just cast, heal up. And as long as he has enough resist from stuff like Automata and his items, he'll just pop off. These augments are all actually pretty bad. His thought is actually pairs of 4s, which is kind of crazy. We'll see what 4 costs he ends up putting onto this board, because, yeah, I mean, this doesn't look, it doesn't feel amazing in this comp. He is also just going to solo frontline the Cog at this point, saying I really just want him to tank as long as possible here. So maybe we can see some fights. This is a Cog 2, remember, so I feel like a decent amount of these fights he will still actually die here. But you see, once he starts getting, like, right there, we almost got going. Because also remember, Kog'Maw, every time he's casting, he's gaining that stacking attack speed. He can auto attack, gain mana from auto attacking, and also gain mana from getting hit. So far, taking some losses here. It looks like Kyun's actually trying to push for a fast 8, the idea being he'd like to potentially find a Malzahar. He cares, mostly about just having a really, really tanky Cog via having Automata, and he does get 4 Automata in here, which is going to be a big upgrade. There's a lot of extras this year, so let's see how tank Cog does here. Once again, still a Cog 2, so we'll see how he does, but look at that, just the mana bar and the HP bar, the mana just back. Honestly, the whole board dies before Kog'Maw, and he's just sitting here taking the entire board, and oh my god, look at that healing. 20,000 damage blocked from just a Cog 2. I mean, the part that fell off about this board is that we missed on any kind of damage, but Mal's is going to help with that a lot. Now we can potentially get to 6 Automata. This is what Kyun was playing for. The idea is on 8 we can potentially pick up Mal's, and hopefully if we get one off carousel, and we did actually. We're still now just looking for a Mumu, which is kind of hilarious. So he's going to roll on 8, the idea being we need to find a Mumu. We also are going to continue to dig for Kog'Maw here. Mundo is the 4 cost that one of the 4 costs that we're going to play, and he's also going to fit Twitch onto this board. So Twitch Mundo is the idea, and also going to get Zyra in here for experiment. QSS made as a damage item onto Twitch as well. This is kind of a crazy board, actually, but it makes sense, right? You get Twitch in, the Mundo and the Twitch fit really, really nicely as far as traits, and then you just need to fit a final experiment here. There, finally, with the 6 Automata, you can really see the Kog'Maw working. And now we're about to go into Anomaly. This is the final piece of it, is you need a tank Anomaly, ideally Deep Roots. This is the one that I think everyone says is, oh my, this pause is so good on Keenan's face. But this is the last piece of it. People say Deep Roots is the best because you want to solo frontline Cog anyway, so you put him in the middle here and he's pulling units into him. It gives him the HP that scales really well and the Armor that, getting more Armor is never bad. Also means that he can't be stunned, which is really important because we saw in that other fight, that's what actually ended up losing us the fight, is that Kog'Maw got stunned, so he couldn't actually, end up getting those perfect casts off. And this is the main idea. Honestly, yeah, Kyun, he makes the call here, and I think this is correct, to just not actually take the Mundo experiment bonus and say, I'm going to put the Twitch back here, and I need the Kog'Maw to be in the middle here. So we'll see. We'll see how the game goes from here. 31 HP, by the way, from Kyun. So a pretty bad spot. by any metric, right? And only 4 Kog'Maws. Were we not in this spot, you know, were we not with this Innervating Locket Cog tech, I think it would, you know, easily be a bot 4. But let's see how the Kog'Maw does. Look at him just filling up that HP. I mean, he's barely moved in his HP. All the Arm Namar. This is the thing, is you need to get Arm Namar outside of Kog'Maw's kit, because he has no way of actually tanking for himself. But if you do build all these tank stats onto him via the Gargoyles, via the Warmogs here, who's, you know, giving me HP to scale up with the Arm Namar, via the Deep Roots, then you have a Kog'Maw that is just unkillable, because he can just chain casts. He's getting all this mana, and every single time he's getting hit, he's getting even more mana. He's casting, gaining attack speed, and healing himself up. It's just incredible. Q get opt to continue rolling on 8 here with the idea that Kog'Maw 3 is going to be really, really nice. Honestly, just for the HP bonus onto Kog is the big idea here. If we just get a Kog'Maw 3, he's going to have some extra HP here. We can make a Gwynsu's Rageblade onto Twitch here, and then, I don't know, tier somebody, Nunu for a faster cast, I guess. Yeah, seems fine. All right, finding a Heimerdinger board here, who's gotten actually a lot of damage off the Corki, also a lot of damage, but every single fight, look at the Kog'Maw go. He can't be killed. He can't be killed. 26,000 damage blocked and 14,000 healing from the Kog'Maw. He's just actually a monster here. Pick up the Blitzcrank as well to maybe find Blitz 3. I guess the only scary things for Kog would be like huge amounts of burst damage. Also, Q opting to roll really deep here, which is kind of surprising to me. Oh, he's really close to Kog now. I'm pretty surprised that he rolled this deep though. Was he like, I don't know what his thought process is. Maybe his thought process is we're fighting stronger boards like this. That is a big, I don't know, Rennie and Jinx and stuff. I don't know. This board doesn't actually look that scary to me. So I don't know why he was so pressured, like felt so pressured to roll. I mean, he does really want to pick up Twitch too. That's the one big thing that he has here is the Twitch pair. But honestly, the Kog is a decent other damage dealer. Yeah, 12,000 damage. A lot of it probably coming just from Automata itself. So yeah, going to continue just rolling down every round. Picks up another Amumu here. But, you know, Kog'Maw 3 is going to be really, really big. It's extra damage from the Kog'Maw, who, like we saw there, is doing a lot of damage. But the big thing is just more HP. A 3-star Kog has more HP than 2-star Kog, which HP, once again, scales really well with all this stuff. And this is essentially Biss Kog'Maw. You get the Gargoyle, where he's getting a ton of extra armor and MR from getting focused by everybody. And then the Warmog scales really nicely with this. Look at that Kog, by the way. He dropped down so low and then just healed back up to full here. 5 streak, by the way, for Q. And this game was looking completely doomed. And then he hit everything onto the Kog'Maw. And I mean, he can't lose a fight here. He's looking at Experiment +1 here. Maybe to get to 5 Experiment. Ends up not taking it though. Just ends up taking the Warmogs here so we can have a bit more frontline with this Blitzcrank. Going to continue rolling to 10 every round. And if he finds Kog'Maw, rolling it to 0. Actually, this round, just straight up rolling it to 0. Interesting that he wants to roll it so deep here, but there must be someone in this lobby that Kyun's really, really afraid of, thinking that that person is going to be high cap enough that he's just going to end up losing to them, so he wants to be as strong as possible. Maybe this is it, by the way. He ends up fighting, this is an 8 Enforcer board, I think, with a Caitlyn 2 from Malala, so yeah, we are going to lose to that. And this must be what Kyun was so afraid of. Kate 2 Enforcer here is just saying, like, I need to spike my board as hard as I can, though I'm not sure why he's rolling to 0 here. He has to lock shop, which actually feels pretty bad here. But yeah, 18 HP, still cruising to potentially a top 4, but we'll see what he can do. Also ends up just saying, okay, I lost that fight. Maybe I do want to actually put the Mundo in the Experiment tax. It's just, I feel like this actually does make your positioning significantly worse, though. The Kog'Maw is a little bit to the left here, so Twitch is eating some rockets, though still not so many. And the Kog'Maw scaling all the way up, back to full, man. He just drops so low and then just back to full here. Also manages to unlock the shop in time with the win there. And it's a top 4 on this comp. I mean, I don't know. I love stuff like this in TFT, these crazy ideas that just nobody, I don't know how somebody even thought of this. Tank Kogmaw with Innervating Locket with Automata, but just genius stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like this is what makes TFT a really like beautiful game. Just things like this. It's like you would never think of this, but it's such a cool interaction with all these little pieces working together. Only downside is they might, I'm sure there'll be some kind of fix for this because it is quite broken. But okay, the QSS moves over to Malzahar here. Gunblade onto Twitch. Once again, similar idea. Just keep Kog alive as long as possible. Fight a Victor here, which can't CC the Kog'Maw, but CCs the rest of our board. At least CCing our backline a lot and actually getting sniped out pretty hard by this Caitlyn. The biggest problem for us is actually our backline getting sniped through Kog, but still 19,000 damage from Kog and all of that damage blocked. Who needs a backline? Our backline gets blown up, but who cares? We have Kog'Maw in this spot here. All right, there's a pretty big Twitch, but I feel like Twitch should actually be a fantastic matchup. He's all about these tiny little instances of damage. That's at the end of the day, I feel like what matters the most. Also, really nice position from Kyun here, trying to clump everybody away from the Elise here so that the Elise ends up jumping there. And yeah, it actually works beautifully. The Twitch doesn't get CC'd by the Elise, which is nice. The Kog looks like he's dropping pretty low here, but he refuses to die. Oh my God, heals back up to full HP by the end of the fight. I mean, what can you say? What can you say about this tech? The only person he's afraid of is Malala, because Malala has a lot of burst and he has the ability to snipe out backline. And if Twitch dies and if this Kog'Maw gets burst down, then life becomes hard. We are going to move things up here. This is actually really, really smart because he identifies that Malala is not going to move his board right now, so he can actually put the Kog'Maw on the left side and get the experiment bonus. We're fighting Malala. Is it good enough, though? Twitch ulting? It is! Huge, huge win from Kyun, actually. Great positioning, realizing, yeah, that player was not going to move, so he could go for exactly what he goes for here. So we only got one person left here. It's this guy playing around Twitch. We were beating them before. Have they gotten that much stronger? I don't think so. He checks the TG here. They did just hit LeBlanc 2, it looks like, which is a bit scary. This is just going to go on. I mean, I feel like it would just normally end up on Mundo, but he's just going to throw it onto a 6 Automata unit. Yeah, actually, I think that makes more sense now that I think about 6 Automata. Such a good buff here. Once again, figuring that the Twitch is on the right side here, so he can position for this. This is 5 experiment at least, and he does have potential for 7 if he doesn't have it. Maybe it actually is already 7 experiment. Though I don't see a Zyra or anything on his board, so no, it's actually only 5, and we do end up losing. Wow. Let's take a pause when we get to their next board here, because we'll see, is this board beatable for Kyun? We want to live for one more round so we can push level, but it's actually, yeah, he just has to level this round to get this dude in here. It's really not that big of an upgrade on the board, but something is something. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He hit Warwick. Oh my God, and he found Zyra. So now it's 7 experiment with the Warwick as well. I mean, we'll see what Kyun's board can do versus this. We did get Watcher in. We do have the QSS here for the mouths, which is pretty nice, but it seems like this board might actually have enough. I mean, he just kills the entire board before the Cog, and it is a respectable 2nd place for Kyun. A game that looked like it was gearing up to be an 8th. He just absolutely clutches out with this really, really, really cool line and just mind-bending idea of using Kog'Maw as a tank. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know. I loved watching this. And it's nice because you know, we don't have too many people. We didn't have too many VODs. Like right when the tech came out, there were like screenshots, small videos, but like no actual VODs. And we finally get a VOD for it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check my Twitch, my Metafy, and all my other links down below. Thank you guys as always for watching.